Boy, this is going to be pretty exciting. Hold on, guys. Let me move some stuff around. So I've got a bunch of new equipment, and I'm going to set it up over here on my workbench. I'm going to create a new soldering station. One of these products is a demo that was provided. So I'll probably do a whole separate video on that, but I'll set it up today and probably show you guys how it works. But to kick this off, I have some pretty cool stuff. The first off is this YIHUA 948D2. And it just came in. I'm pretty excited. This right here was my old soldering station. This guy didn't really get used too much, this pace. And my original station is a OYO INT A899 Alpha Plus. And this guy has been with me for years. And it's been an excellent soldering station. The only thing is that it takes up a little bit of space. You know, I have to stack things on top of it and whatnot. Other than that, it's been absolutely fantastic. It doesn't break. I never change the soldering temperature, or, you know, I do change the hot air gun. The only thing I wish is that it had presets for the hot air station, kind of like the Quick. You guys know that I've done videos on the Quick station, and a lot of my pro grade soldering equipment is at work. So I have to whip out my older stuff every once in a while, and because of that, it is what it is, you know. Sometimes I get questionable quality on some of my things, but you know, that's why it's time to upgrade. All right, so here we go. This is my box of love. Let's see, what do we have? This box is not light, by the way. It's actually kind of heavy. Open me. Interesting. Important document inside. Alright, I don't know how important it really is. Let's see. So this guy here is one of those infamous soldering tip changers. So it's silicone. You can grab on the soldering tip and pull it out. I think that's designed to wrap around the cord. I'm obviously not going to put it there. This kit also comes with a spare heating element and a set of tweezers. Now this type of soldering iron uses the accessory style heating element, which is obviously not my favorite, and that's also the style that I was using here. Problem is all these multi-purpose stations, none of them have the good style soldering irons. It's unfortunate. I've looked, trust me, I've looked. They all behave the exact same. You have to take off the tip, you know, there's the heating element, which has to go in a sleeve, which then has to go inside the tip. These style soldering stations are nowhere near as fast as the style that I use with the Quick. It's the TS1200, I think. I've also had other ones that I've given away. I really dig the Quick station. But even the Quick multi-station, multi-purpose stations, they use this style soldering iron, even though the company itself makes a better brand and better style soldering iron. So I'm stuck with that style still, as unfortunate as that may be. So I've got a bag full of accessories here. These are all tip cleaners, filters, etc. This is for the solder sucker, which is one of the reasons why I really like this station. Let's see, I got soldering wick. Ooh. I've got a solder sucker gun, which this actually feels really good. I was thinking that this guy was going to feel like a plastic toy. Well, we'll see how good it does, but it actually feels like it's really good quality. I'm kind of surprised. And it should have a variety of tips, which which was the last version I did? I can't remember. I got a soldering gun that is at my work, and it's probably one of the best ones on the market. It's like $700, $800, something like that. And the thing about that gun is it only came with one tip. I do believe this station comes with multiple tips, which they're probably still in the box. Oh, sweet. So you can see I've got a whole variety for the hot air gun. I love having a hot air gun. You can see that's one of the things that caused me to switch. because this is style hot air gun that I'm using with this station, which it's good. It doesn't fail. I'll tell you what, this guy here has run with me for years. It hasn't failed a single time. But I'm trying to save some space on my desktop. All right, here we go. Okay, so I also have a solder sucking or a chip sucking pen. This is if you heat something up with a hot air station, you can pick it up with a suction pen. I don't know if I'll ever really use that because my technique is I usually use something like one of these blades, and I will lightly stick this blade under the edge of a chip, heat it up with the hot air gun until I can turn the blade and kind of pop the chip up. That way there I'm not lifting traces or anything. I don't know, maybe I'll have to practice and try with that guy. Oh my gosh. Okay. Some of the stuff is kind of heavy. Oh, right here. Here is a chip lifter. You see that? Okay. Let me go ahead and pull it out. This is the style that I've used for years. Come on, come on. All right. Well, they've kind of done it a little simpler version. There's just a screw and a rod. You can see what it is. It's just a fork, really light, and that light spring pressure is what you can use to lift up on things, and you won't rip out traces. I'm sure that this guy has other uses, but it's a chip lifter in my book because that's what I always use it for. Oh, man. Here we go. I can go ahead and assemble this bad boy right now. I do have several things. This one product that I have back here behind me is something that was sent to me as a demo, and I'm kind of excited. I think you guys are really going to like it. They took a new approach to solder fume vacuuming. I really dig it. In theory. I haven't unboxed it yet, so we'll find out together. I have a spare heating element for the hot air gun. And let's see, is there anything special about this guy? The reason I'm checking this guy to see if there's anything special is because this is the dock for the hot air gun for my new one. You know, it goes like that. One of the things I really dig about the quick gun is that there are magnets in the holster. So when you put it in the holster, the Hall effect sensor shuts the gun down, or it turns it into cool off mode. I really like that. We'll see if this one has some of the same features. I so hope so. Cool. And that's one of the things I was talking about earlier. Multiple different types of tips. They have laser etching for their diameter. These are an extra expense with many other manufacturers. That really, really irks me because they're not cheap. Like some of these tips can be $30, you know, for a couple tips for your solder sucker gun. Oh boy. Okay. So this is the new style hot air gun, which it feels very dense. Kind of surprised about that. One of the big advantages to this style instead of the quick hot air gun is the quick actually blows air down the tube, so you have a shorter distance between the hot air gun and the base station. This one here uses a cable. It's got an integrated squirrel cage fan, and it blows past the heating element. This one here, in theory, should be able to stretch further and should be more maneuverable. We'll find out. All right. Another thing is I see it's got a little vortex right here. See that? So normally a hot air gun blows straight out. We'll see if this is a little more efficient by creating a little vortex. We shall see. All right. I have a YIHUA. What is this guy going to be used for? That's not going to get used anymore. So this is the soldering pen. Again, I like it. It feels nice. I like that this is silicone rubbery. It's got a soft silicone jacketed cable too, so it's going to be really easy to maneuver around. But I do wish that this guy here had a different style heating element, much like my quick 1200A. You know, the ones that you can pop out, you pop another one in, and you take off to the races again. So this one here you have to unscrew. It's more cumbersome. I don't change tips that often anyway. One of the tips that I use the most often is the one that is a wedge. So it's a oval, but it's cut off at an angle. Those ones really hold the solder, and there's a lot of mass down at the tip. Unlike some of these conical tips, the solder doesn't like to stick to it. There's no flat surface. So either the wedge, which is like a blade, that one is very good, or the oval that's sliced off at an angle. Those are two really good tips. We'll see. I might have to change this tip out. Whatever this guy is. Okay. It's the base. The base. Alright. Well, some stuff I like, some stuff I don't like right off the bat. Okay, trash. From what I can see, okay, so the soldering gun sticks here. The hot air gun probably sticks in the back. Like that. Right. Doesn't really fit in there too well. Huh. What do you think? I feel like this sits in there much better like that. But then while you're using this guy, you have to reach underneath it to clean the tip. It's kind of weird. Maybe I'll sit it off to the side like that. I don't know. But then the base isn't really weighted enough. You can tell that it maybe wants the tip. That's why I always keep extra plates like this. I don't even remember what this guy came off of, but it is a heavy plate. And something like this would be way better because it's not going to tip. And that's one of my biggest complaints about all soldering stations is ones that have standalone base stations. They always want to tip. I really hate that. You know, because sometimes you just want to maneuver it real quick. We'll see. Maybe it's not that bad, but worst case scenario, I'll do a modification. I have this weighted plate. I'll put that weighted plate on there if I really need to. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, this guy is kind of heavy. I just want to grab the handle. Okay, here we go. And that should do it for that box. So right off the bat, I'm telling you, I wish it was like my YIHUA over here, however you want to say that brand. I wish it was like that one because they put the handle on the side. The reason you put the handle on the side is because when it's up here, you can't stack anything. And stacking things is going to be really important. So, I don't know. I might pull this handle off. I might do that. Anyway, let's go ahead and undo some of these cables. Get this guy set up. It feels really good quality. The knobs, yeah, it's passable. There's a protector film that's on this display. There we go. That looks better. Okay, on the front, there's desolder and solder. It can only do one function at a time. And then there's the hot air. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it does. Because one of the things I want to do is I want to run the hot air rework while I've got the solder gun running. And there's many reasons for that. So we'll see how that goes. Hey, Andrew, what's going on, man? There are all sorts of part-time jobs out there. You tell me what city you're looking for, and the community might be able to help you out. We'll help you find a job, man. There's plenty of positions out there, but you might have to go through the suck, which are the jobs that really, you know, are unfavorable. It's the only way to put it. Here we go. Put that desolder gun on there. Okay. Let's see. Desolder station, solder gun. It's kind of weird that you can only use one at a time. Kind of weird, but that means that the temperature regulation and everything is being switched, or it just can't handle that kind of load. I don't know how many watts each of these guns are. It's not really written on there. I bet you it's about 70 watts for this soldering pencil. I really don't know if that's how it's supposed to be. If that's how it's supposed to be, then that looks like hell, because it just kind of flops around. And if this is the way it's supposed to be, then the gun is in the way if you have to clean the tip. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? Our power cord. Got my hot air gun. So if you guys haven't seen any of my other videos on soldering stations or soldering irons, one of the things that I always like to do is time out the time it takes from the moment you turn it on to the moment that it melts solder. And it's very important, because that's one of the most aggravating things is when you turn on a soldering iron and you sit there and sit there and sit there, and it takes forever for it to heat up. So I'm going to go against my old system with the new system, and we're going to see which one melts the solder first. Now, a lot of people criticized me several years ago when I did a video on the YIHUA versus the Quick, and they said that that's a horrible way of testing it. I don't think so. Startup time is one of the things that affects us the most, because we're not using a soldering iron all the time. So one of the things that does affect us is how long you have to wait for it to get up to temperature. Because if it can get up to temperature quicker, then that means it can probably also reconcile its temperature if you accidentally heat sink it on something, or if you have a large mass, like a copper mass, that you're trying to heat up to get a component out. Your iron's ability to reconcile its temperature and power through it, that's going to matter. So it's warm up temperature and the speed that it can go at. Those are really important things to me. So anyway, guys, let's see. Hot air gun it's got the one holder on the side. Yeah. Okay, so this is interesting. Got two fasteners that are already in. Okay. And no, I was just checking to see if maybe you could put it on either side if you needed to. No such luck. All right, here you go. Now, I will be a little upset if it doesn't recognize that I docked the gun. I think it does. We're going to find out. So let me go ahead and get this guy set up. Here's the power cord. Ooh, it feels good. I just got through cleaning my mini split air conditioner right up here, which is why I haven't made any videos lately, is because I've been working on that and some other things. So took me a little bit, but it feels really good right now because I got a lot of airflow. All right, let's do this. Let's tip this guy forward, make sure it's off. There. So, as is always the problem, I really hate when everything on my desk is a clutter. So I usually keep the cables kind of spun around like so. I don't know if that's the correct way to hold those, but who cares? It's close enough, man. All right, so let's see. I'm going to take my pace. Now, my old soldering equipment, I am going to be giving it away, probably to somebody that's local here in Houston, just because I don't use it anymore. It's a little bit dirty because it's been in this garage, but it cleans up real nice. And, to my knowledge, every single piece of it works just fine. Let's see. My good old trusty right here. This has been a good system. Okay. Put this guy back. Let's take all this stuff away. It's a lot of accessories. Soldering stations always have a whole bunch of accessories. And this guy here is extra. You're supposed to hook it up to the suction. Don't really know how that's supposed to work. I'll have to figure that out some other time, guys. It's not even something that I'm probably going to use. I'm always going to keep my desoldering gun connected. Okay, so in order to test out these guys to see how fast they really are, let's see. So let's go ahead and get some solder set up.
Hello.
What's up, beautiful? How you doing?
I was just wondering if we can go fishing.
No, we can't. It's like 100 degrees outside. My kids. Okay, let's see. What do we got? Maybe this guy will work a little bit better. All right. So the concept is to have a piece of solder that's horizontal, and between two pieces, we'll set two of them up and see which soldering gun will go through the solder the fastest. If it melts through it, then you know, hey, it obviously heats up faster. How are we going to set this guy up though? What would be the fairest way to do it? I need something better than this. Anyway, I'll tell you what, we'll do that later. I'll do a whole separate video on that. I'm not going to make you guys wait through that because I have more stuff to unpack. I have more stuff for this desktop because I want to do more electronics videos and whatnot, and that means I need more equipment. So let's go ahead, set this guy over here. Let me grab the next box. All right, guys. Next box. I have a regulated DC power supply. Mind you, everything that I am doing here today, I bought off Amazon, and everything I have here, I will leave links in the video description if you want to check them out. None of this stuff is crazy expensive, by the way. It's not for my home game right here. I don't do too much commercial electronics or anything, so I'm okay. And this little guy here should handle, I don't know. It said that it handles 30 volts at 10 amps. That's what it said. I just don't see that handling 10 amps. Maybe it's not for continuous use, 10 amps. Let's find the stats. Yeah, sure enough. It does say 0 to 30 volts. Up to 10 amps, which is actually very cool. 10 amps at 30 volts? That seems a little excessive. I'll tell you right now, the knobs on the front feel really good. Feels like some reasonable quality. I'm going to turn them all down. They were all maxed out, so if you guys do buy one of these, turn it down before you go forth and start cranking on it so you don't blow something up. Alright, so it does have screw down jacks with banana plugs, and it comes with a set of bananas. Banana to gator clips anyway. Here we go. So this guy, this is a model SPS 3010, and I would say that this guy is not heavy enough to handle that kind of amperage. Hold on, guys. I would just expect more heat sink for what this guy can supposedly handle. Because if it truly is 10 amps at 30 volts, that's a lot. It's more than you probably realize. And normally you have to have a lot of heat sinking in order to be able to handle that. So I'm going to take the cover off and let's take a look inside. Now this is one of the most common power supplies that you can find all over Amazon. Read your stats though, because there is a version that handles 5 amps and then there's this version that handles 10 amps. And I was hoping that it's not just a software issue. I'm hoping that there actually is a heftier heatsink in this guy, because even if you use it at 5 amps for a period of time, it's going to get warm. So obviously you want something like this. All right, here we go. All right, well, okay, so what you have is an open frame switch mode power supply, and obviously it's being controlled by these headers in the front. And you can see back here, this is the heatsink. They're using a large flat piece of aluminum. Okay. I mean, if it works, it works. You can see that they have it actively cooled right here, and it's blowing air past the heatsink. I don't know how well that's going to work. I don't know, guys. Really interesting. So I can see a temperature sensor right here. Yep. So it's got a thermistor right there. It's got some current measure resistors, and it's got some large current measure resistors up here. So it's a beast of a power supply, you know, I guess. I just can't see it handling 10 amps. So I think what they did, the difference between the 5 amp and the 10 amp version, is I think they changed out the MOSFETs. And I do believe that this plate and everything is going to be the same. Maybe it is just a software issue, because MOSFETs are cheap. They're really cheap. So changing out different FETs for the different varieties of power supply doesn't really make sense. So I could only think that maybe they're limiting their 10 amp version, and that's why they're calling it the 5 amp. I don't know. Maybe I'll get one and open it up and take a look. But yeah, it's a switch mode power supply, all right. But I don't see anything that's too chintzy. I mean, it's got crimped on connectors to the front panel. You can see them right here. Yeah, see all that. So not too bad. What else is going on in here? There's a lot of hand soldering, so you got to be careful if you ever open one of these up, because a lot of these wires are just soldered to the board. And I don't know, guys. Maybe I'll put it through the paces and see how many amps it can really pull. I do have some large current resistors, like this bad boy over here. I could hook it up to that guy and see how much current this guy can handle. The reason that I chose to go with a 30 volt 10 amp is because, not just because it can handle a larger load just in case, but also I do testing with some CNC components, and having a larger power supply like 24 to 30 volts is pretty good for testing some of these components. Not too major though, not too major, because normally with CNC I'm shooting at, was it 48 to 60 volts DC, so not too major. What is going on here? All right, I guess it always helps if you use the correct fasteners. All right, there's one. Now I'm kind of curious about what's inside that 4-in-1 YIHUA soldering station. It feels kind of heavy. I have a feeling that a lot of that heft is due to the vacuum pump. It's probably got a large diaphragm pump in there. I wish it had like a rotary vane or something like that, but obviously the cost would go up quite a bit. Diaphragm pumps, in an air-conditioned environment, they should be fine. It should give me, you know, a reasonable amount of. Open her up. You want me to open it up? I don't care. Maybe I'll open it up. Sure, let's do it. let's figure out if this stuff is really worth it. So this guy here was like $70 or $80, and that guy over there was $300. So yeah, maybe we'll just open it up and take a look. Wow. Really odd. There are two different types of fasteners on this guy. And the worst part is they all look like they're threaded into metal. So you would expect a metal screw instead of what would be a plastic screw. This guy right here is what normally would go into a plastic. Weird choice. Really weird. Thanks, Andrew. I did a very large edit on some video yesterday for a company. And that is a video that has just been on my mind for months now. And I finally finished it up. And when or if the company gives me the go-ahead, I will make that video live and I can tell you more about it. Unfortunately, at this time, I can't really say anything because, you know, I always want to give the companies the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully they don't come back with a list of edits for me to do, because after I already spent 7 hours or so editing your video, you give me a list of things to change, I'm probably going to say screw you and not post it. So we will see. We will see what their criticism is of my video. But I'm experimenting with new editing techniques and stuff. So video editing takes so long, guys. It really does. These kind of videos right here, live streams and stuff, yes, I say some things that are probably going to be wrong because it's improv and there is no rehearsal. There's no rehearsal for this. So if I say something wrong, well, who cares? I don't care. I'm just going to press on, all right? But some of these other videos are, you know, very formal. Companies always want it to look as professional as possible. And, you know, I try and do my absolute best, you know, to show these companies a good light. Man, I'll tell you what. Do I really want to open this guy up? You know I do. You know I do. All right. I should have just did this right at the beginning, right? Should have did this at the beginning. Can you guys hear me okay? I just realized that I've got Bluetooth that is still logged in across the room. And normally my live streams, when I do live streams with the laptop, apparently I get lag and I get a bunch of problems. When I do them with my cell phone, which is what this video is, it's done with a cell phone, they come through clear. How crazy is that? So it's such a pain because I like to be able to chat with people and stuff, but you know, in the end, it's all about having the clearest video. And for this, we're just going to go full tilt. Okay. I still have a whole nother product to unwrap. I've got a whole nother product to unbox. Something very new, something that's new to the market that I'm really excited about. Haha! Okay. Well, part of that is a good sign. So one of the reasons this guy was kind of hefty is because it has a large power transformer in there. Look at that. So this power transformer's got multiple taps. I've got a tap for 10 volts, 27 volts, 29 volts, and 12.5 volts. That's what it says. So it looks like I'm using all those taps. Yep. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Let's see. Okay. Let me pull this front panel off. It's extruded aluminum and it's very sharp. Normally I wouldn't have noticed it because the sides protect it, but me taking that cover off and now it's very sharp. Okay, let's take a look. All right. Oh man, I'm really kind of strapped down. Well, let's see. I like some stuff in here. You can see the terminals all are insulated. That's nice. It has several ground points on there. That's nice. Let's see. There is some adhesive on these connectors to keep them in. I like that. I didn't know that this rotary selector right here is not just a rotary, but it's got a push feature. So I'll have to see how that works. There is a couple heat sinks down there, one up here, another one up there. Those are all for the drivers for these guys right here, and probably for the diaphragm pump that I was talking about. So yep, right there. Standard brush DC motor. Yep. So if that guy ever does go out, we can definitely fix that. It'd be obviously better if it had a brushless motor in there, but you know how things work. So here, let me pull this guy out. Come on. I'm really kind of limited on space. There is a couple relays on this main board, probably to activate certain features. Yep. So there's that guy. There's that guy. One of them is probably to turn on this motor. Huh. And I imagine one of these guys here is to pulse temperature to this guy, because it's going to use pulse width modulation for the heating element probably, which means it's pulsing to the heating element to maintain at a certain temperature. But it's also going to be regulating your fan speed, and it's probably done with those. Not too shabby. I was expecting something maybe a little more crusty, but you know, for $300, that's actually not too bad. Not too bad at all. All right, let me put this back together. Really interesting. I love taking things apart to see how they manufactured it and why they made certain design choices. And I can tell you for a fact, the Chinese are masters at manufacturing to a certain cost level. There we go. Okay. No, I'm not torquing them down very much. If you do ever take one of these apart, be wary, because it looks like these cords can get pinched. Yeah. Just got to make sure all these are sitting nice and neat. So all these buttons up here are generic surface mount buttons with the long pedestal in the middle. So all of these, if you ever have a button problem with them, common buttons, you can find them on Amazon to repair it if they ever go bad. Not saying they will. Okay. It's all interesting. So this guy threads in to the extrusion in multiple points, and that's what gives it its rigidity. It's really cool to see how people make things. cool thing about extrusion is that it comes with channels for fasteners already, like straight from the slice when they cut it. So extrusion is, imagine like a die, and almost like the old Play-Doh. That's exactly what extrusion's like. So they take molten aluminum and they shoot it through like a Play-Doh die, and then when it comes out, they either tension it or whatever they need to do, depending on what's being manufactured. And then they let it cool, and when it cools, they cut it in the chunks, which, you know, extrusion's absolutely everywhere. This guy right here is an extrusion right here. So all they do is they cut it, and then they give it its finishing touches, and away it goes. Here we go. Right. I'm being really careful when I put it together because I don't want to strip anything out, you know. It's brand new. I haven't even turned it on yet. Right, almost done. I haven't even powered it up to see if it works. That would be pretty bad if it was dead on arrival and here I took it apart. Okay. Let's put him back. Connect all my garbage back up to it. There we go. There we are. Excellent. Not so bad, not so bad. Okay, so that's a little bit different. My old unit didn't have an on-off switch in the back. You just flipped it on from the front. Which, since I have kids around, that might be a good thing. They like to goof around with stuff. Oh, wow. I'll tell you what, this heat gun works really quickly. And it's almost instantaneous. Alright, so when I put it on the dock, it does go into cool off mode. So I think there's like a little reed switch in there. And there it goes. It cools it off and it shuts off. Very neat. All right. So let's get to the last thing, the very last thing. This is going to be one of the coolest things I have yet to show on this channel. So this is an LED smoke absorber. Somebody approached me and asked if I would be interested in doing a review on their product. And I said, send it over. Let's go ahead and check it out. So let's see what we have in the box. I do think that this is going to be one of the coolest products that I've had on this channel because it solves multiple problems in one little device. So it says it uses a 12 volt 1 amp power supply. It's 10 watts. I don't know. So a lot of these are just, it says it uses 48 LEDs, surface mount LEDs. So it's got 48 LEDs around this ring. Very cool. So you can see where I'm going with this. It goes like this, so it sucks the air up and through a carbon filter. Meanwhile, it illuminates the area that you're working, and what makes it even better is that it comes with a set of helping hands. Helping hands are the little gator clips that, you know, help you hold things. So it does 3 things in one package. Come here. There we go. So you can see what it's supposed to look like when you're done. You know, everybody has the light with the magnifier, which I don't need a magnifier, but I do think a positionable light with a smoke absorber for solder fumes, so it's not coming right up in your face. You can put the light really close to where you're working, which is super cool. It's going to be really nice. And you can change the color modes and the dimming of this light. Super cool, guys. I'm very excited about this light. All right, here we go. So it has its own power supply. Stick that over here. It comes with 3 extra particulate filters, which just pop in the face right here. Now, one of my most successful videos ever, which is kind of crazy, was a smoke absorber fan that sits on your desktop. And it's just a metal fan that uses the same type of filter media. And believe it or not, that video gets crazy amounts of views. And it doesn't solve nearly the amount of problems that this one does. Now, it's kind of good because you can just place it on your bench someplace. But it's always a little too far away from where you're working. Whereas this one here, you can position it up here, kind of right above your head. So if the fumes do come up towards your face, it'll suck them up and blow them past you. We'll test it out. Obviously, the CFM of the fan is going to matter quite a bit. And you know something? I have a whole nother problem here because my workbench is really thick. And it's too thick for this. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to probably have to put this guy in a vise or put it in a clamp. We'll figure that one out when I get to it. All right, so we got this guy. So you take the base. You have a threaded adapter that goes in there. I do like that it's got 2 different adjustments. So you can either put it here or up here. How should I do it? Oh, I almost got lucky. It was almost big enough to put right across this guy. That would have been kind of cool. Let's see, where else can I put this guy? I could clamp it maybe over here. Huh. I'll figure something out. Let's go ahead and test it first. Just going to screw in the adapter, and then we have to loosen this guy up. And it sits in like that. There we go. And I have clamps. I'll just put it in a clamp. In like this guy right here. It's going to raise it up a little bit higher than necessary, but you get the point. There we go. Okay. And I'll just rotate this 90 degrees so it's got a longer base. I'm going to have problem after problem with this guy. Okay. There we go. Do it like this. There's always a solution, guys. Alright, let's see. Where's my other little guy? I just wanted to hold it up so that I can test it real quick. Alright, there we go. I put a clamp on a clamp. Alright, so it looks like this guy's controlled. Right here, there's a little hand pendant. Very nice. It's lit up. It's got a fan indicator. It's got a light indicator and a plus and a minus. So I wonder if I can change the fan speed. I don't think I would. Very cool. Not super high CFM, but it doesn't really have to be, does it? Okay, and let's turn the light on. You see the different colors of the light? That is pretty neat. I'll give them that. Pretty neat. So the helping hands, you have a couple thumb screws. Let me just start the thumb screws before I shove the helping hands in. Okay. There we go. Alright. And then this guy here is supposed to mount someplace up here. So I've never read the instructions on this. If I'm doing something wrong, oh well. Who cares? It's okay. I do feel that this is the spirit of the machine. No, it was supposed to be used like this. Okay, here we go. Now I don't actually use helping hands very much, but take a look at that. That's kind of cool. So if you're soldering wires together or something. Ooh, you can see I'm adjusting the dimness. I like it on the white light like that. Very cool. I really like that. It's kind of quiet too. So there you can hear it. I like it. Now I will find this unit and I will leave a link in the video description. I like it. It comes with an extra hand. It has quite the reach. It would have an even better reach if I had a proper workbench for it. I'll find a way. Maybe I'll create a mount to connect it to the back wall. But it can reach out quite a distance. You can rotate it. Very neat. And these helping hands are kind of rigid, which you want them to be, because if you're holding cables and stuff, you want them to be able to position and hold something that has a little bit of weight. And I can clearly do that. It's kind of a heavy knife, and it's holding them up just fine. So it's everything that I would like in a smoke absorber. I really dig that it's got that light. Now the light isn't crazy bright, but maybe it's not crazy bright because I have these guys on. You can see my workbench. I've got all these lights right overhead. There we are. Now we have a little better look at things. Now I really don't think that the dimmer has very much of a function. I mean, it does dim, but I use everything on maximum brightness. So I don't think I would ever dim something down. I just couldn't see that. Now you can see the colors of the light a little better. Oh, that one's good. Yep, I dig that one right there. So guys, I'd say that this guy's a pretty good win. I really dig it. So like I said, I will leave the link in the video description. That's the LED smoke absorber. Very cool. I'm going to do a video completely on this guy when I have it in the proper base. And that way there you guys can have probably a more objective view on it other than me improperly setting it up on a desk. But what a cool piece of tech right here. So between my 4-in-1 unit, I've got my regulated DC power supply, and then this guy right here, I'm pretty much ready to rock and roll. So altogether, let's say $400 between all of these, and that is half of what I spent on just my solder sucker alone for, from YIHUA. So that's not too bad, guys. Like I said, I'll do a video on this guy right here versus that guy, so we can compare the soldering irons. But I'm probably going to be giving away my old soldering equipment. So if you're going to be in the Houston area, let me know, because I'll probably hook you up. So I got no extra use for it. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end this stream right about there. Everything seems to be pretty satisfactory. I'm actually really impressed with this little guy right here. I can't wait to set him up properly. My little DC power supply right here, it's going to live right there by my soldering station, which is one of the reasons why I had to migrate to a different soldering station. Now, I would kind of like to set it right up here on top. It's got that handle on top, so I might have to pull that handle off. Still to be decided, but I might pull that handle off. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for you. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned, because I have more gear, even more gear, that I'm going to be unpacking and setting up, and it's going to be good times. So I got some more video to edit, and that's going to be the rest of my day. So thanks, guys.